So in this property, a young couple with dog are about to rent the property out. There's been mold issues. They've had lots of treatment. Here is the mold. It's trapped in behind the bed. Let's listen to the survey. The reason that you get build-up of mold in the corners as opposed to the middle is that you don't get the airflow. So the corners, you get increased heat loss from the outside, particularly that corner there.
Right.
But you also get reduced airflow.
Yeah.
So you get
this makes it worse.
exactly. So diffusion, vapor moves through diffusion, so you can get into the corners, but heat in the residential environment mainly moves through air currents,
Right.
and you're getting reduced heat. So the surface relative humidity goes up because it's a function of both temperature and of vapor. And what happens is that you'll have the same dew point across there, but it will be colder in one zone compared to another zone because of the increased heat loss to the outside and the reduced heat from the inside. You've got the radiator there, but when a radiator isn't being used, it will draw heat away.
Okay.
So it's a negative when it's not in use.
Right.
So this wall is damp. Well,
To about there, despite being, what, 3 floors up, 4 floors up, something like that. And then it suddenly drops down. Suddenly drops off and then... Okay, behind the bed. It'd be worth having it away from the wall anyway.
oh, here's the.
So, do you see that you are obviously getting mould here, but you also got dust as well, and
Yes.
you're going to get dust mites, and that's going to cause allergic reaction if you're not careful.
Okay.
And that's the key thing to avoid. You want to vacuum it. I would keep this away from the wall. I know that's
Yeah.
you obviously can't do it that much, but
Well, look, we're moving away in a month.
Okay.
So as a tenant.
so you're going to be
coming in,
renting it.
Yeah. So.
Ah,
I'll
in
have
which
it
case
differently
I'm going to
set
give you lots of
up.
recommendations.
Okay. Perfect.
Tenants are lovely,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't
like to
do the
complain.
things that owners would do. So you have to spoon feed it.
Okay.
You have to and do all the things that I'm recommending, but I'm going to take it to the next level when thinking about tenants,
Cool.
because
Perfect.
they see vapor as even though they're generating it themselves, they see vapor as being a landlord's problem and heat loss as being their problem, or the cost of heating as being their problem. So they won't open the windows
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So you basically, I would consider using what's called a continuous flow bathroom extractor fan.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll have a look at that again. The bathroom extractor fan is running about 8 litres a second, and you want it to be faster. I'll have a look to see whether there's any reason why it's not working well. It's probably that long pipe isn't great, but it's better than nothing. So it's quite dirty. We're going to extend the timer just by doing this, turning it clockwise. I'll see if I can clean it out a bit. But it was, given that you're going to rent it out, it's worth thinking of replacing this fan with a continuous flow extractor fan, especially given that you've got this piping system that reduces the flow of air quite dramatically.
Okay.
So drying internally is without a dehumidifier. These things produce a huge amount of vapor. You can feel the vapor just coming through here, so it's not doing anything. It's funny, in a modern conversion it should not be like that. It's not part of building regs.
Okay. That was put in last.
So it remains on after the lights are switched off, which is good.
Without even looking, really. Oh yeah, it's definitely just condensation, and it does help. Like the mold is reduced, but
But it hasn't solved the problem.
hasn't solved the problem.
Because you're not
Stop
addressing
it.
the root cause.
yes.
And the root cause is the bathroom, kitchen, drying
Right.
clothes and things like that. So
Okay.
I'll look at those and we can sort that out. And monitoring, measuring the relative humidity, that's really important. The dew point, relative humidity and temperature.
Right.
So we're seeing the wall from the outside, and the bedroom starts from about there all the way across. Probably at that level, just above the window. But the damp zone is there, and there is a noticeable area of crack. Well, looks like there's some cracking here, and particularly over there. I will have a better look. There's cracking there, and this is the area. There are lots of render cracks. Ultimately, the best solution would be to have EWI, that's external wall insulation, with a good render on the outside. So this is the flat downstairs. Oh yeah. It's dry lined as well. And this is immediately below the damp zone that well, in the flat I was surveying. So the whole way across, but this paper, can we see below? Yes, it's damp there. I'm going to move the bed out. Thanks. So this is behind the bed, and we've got mould in there. No actual signs of penetrating damp. And that's the dry line. I'm going to have a look at the thermal image now. So it's looking through the thermal image. This time of year you can't necessarily tell a lot. Also behind this wall there's dampness and mould. Bit of white mould actually. Despite dry lining. No extractor fan out, well at least doesn't look like it, but I'll test it. It's coming out there. See the dust. Venter stopped. I only lost for a minute. It's very easy to change it. Have a look at what I did upstairs. Oh, the fan itself seems to be effective. It just needs 19. There you go. That's pretty. Oh, that's temperature. Put it onto. Just over 10. Obviously, it should be 19, but 15, but that's the that number there. There's quite a long way to go, and you need to extend it. Detailing. These are the old chairs from Drury Lane. You want to try to reduce the. Sorry, start again. Try and keep clutter to a minimum from external walls, particularly cold walls. But there's some specific issues on the outside which I'll be detailing.
Okay, cool. All right.
Heat loss on that wall, it could be something to do with the way it's been built. There may be some metal there. I am concerned about the render crack producing penetrating damp, but I can't see evidence of brown staining that you would get from penetrating damp. So I think what is happening is it's causing heat loss, which is making that wall, particularly behind the bed, very cold. Now, having the heat recovery ventilation that you have I'm not a huge fan of them because they're not really dealing with the root cause, but you know, there is some benefit to it. The only thing you have to remember is when the internal temperature is the same as the external temperature and it's raining, then they're going to be pushing vapor into the property. And if you don't have proper airflow, then you risk having mold, because you'll end up having, if the temperature is say 18 degrees centigrade and it's raining outside, the relative humidity is going to be 100% at 18 degrees centigrade. And you know, if it's just maybe 1 degree centigrade warmer inside, you will have a um, a relative humidity of 95% if you're basing all your ventilation on the heat recovery unit. So you need good ventilation, and you need to target the source of ventilation. So that's cooking, bathroom, and drying clothes. I would make your tenants use a dehumidifier. I would also provide it for them. I've improved the bathroom extractor fan. I've given it a 30-minute overrun, so that's better. For cooking, it's a difficult one because putting the extractor fan ducting would be quite expensive and wouldn't look necessarily particularly good. But again, dehumidifier is a way around that, and also asking your tenants to cook with tops on pots and pans. But if they follow Joule's law, which is keeping the internal vapor as measured in degrees centigrade as dew point below the outside temperature at all times, then they will have more or less no risk of mold. The other thing is I'd keep the bed away from the wall. You might even think about putting something like a little small table, but allow the airflow behind it, just so that it forces the bed to be slightly away from the wall. You can use insulation. So I think I showed you at the time, thermal lining paper would work well in that environment. So although your neighbours have similar issues downstairs, which suggests that there is heat loss, which again could be the cracks and or the way it's constructed, but they also have vent issues. Their extractor fan was only lasting a minute, I think, and wasn't running particularly fast. No, sorry, it was running okay, but it just lasted a minute. So, and also there was no extractor pan from the kitchen, but that's not so unusual. So anyway, main thing, keep the bed away from the wall, and think about some insulation and dehumidifier, and get your tenants to monitor the vapor by reference to the dew point, and then you should be fine. And ask them to send you a copy of the monitor, or consider using a Wi-Fi means of monitoring. But obviously you want to work with them as a team. Okay, thanks. Like and subscribe. You'll see lots of similar videos to help. Okay, thank you.